This is the Vexilar FL-12, the next generation of the world's most popular three-color flasher fish finder. Now let's take a few minutes to show you how to use your new FL-12 effectively on open water for finding depth, structure, and fish.
Catching fish using real-time flasher sonar technology is really a quantum leap towards sophisticated angling techniques. You see, flasher technology is relatively old. It's been around for 30, 40 years. But the application of it for real-time sonar response has really come into its own in the last few years, because anglers are starting to understand the true applications of flashers for real-time response. And today what I'm going to do is show you a little bit about how that real-time response can help you put more fish in the boat. Because today I'm fishing deep milfoil patches. I'm using a very powerful stick, a big 1-ounce jig, and I'm fishing vertically in columns of milfoil. One of the big advantages many people say why they like flasher technology is it's real time. As you see it, it happens. In shallow water, flashers are unbeatable because they can show you the depth in 1 or 2 foot of water. Liquid crystals have a problem because they tend to average things out and show you a history of what's happened. Say, for example, we want to fish in a brush pile. And here I'll just use my reel handle as the brush pile to give you an idea. As a liquid crystal unit would display this object, you would literally be past it before it would actually start drawing it on your screen. So your mind would say, oh, there's a brush pile there. Now, I'm not saying it won't show the brush pile. It will show the brush pile, but it's delayed. It's history. With a flasher, it's instantaneous. So what you see is exactly what's underneath you for that instant. So if I want to fish this individual limb of a brush pile, I can literally hover the boat over the top of it and fish vertically. Now, on some of the lakes in southern Texas where they have a lot of deep milfoil, the columns of milfoil may be 10, 15, or even 20 feet deep. They literally position the boat using a flasher over individual stalks of milfoil and fish vertically. With a liquid crystal, it shows you an average of what's down there, so you really don't have an idea where these pockets are in the weeds. So what I'm using today is some real power fishing. I'm using 50-pound test line. I'm right inside a thick weed bed with a 10-foot column of milfoil. Powerful rod, powerful line, a 1-ounce jig, and I gotta pull hard to get them in. Let me show you how this flasher technology can help you catch more bass this next season.
Corrosion is a major factor in the marine environment. Crimped connections and exposed terminals need constant checking. Be sure these connections are tight. Repair and replace loose connections right away. Also be sure your battery is fully charged and ready to go at all times. Vexilar offers several beam angle configurations in several different transducer systems. Your system could come with any of these. Whichever style you have, be sure your transducer is plugged in and tightened down. Also, check the cable for any cuts or breaks. Make sure the transducer itself is in good condition. Note any scratches or gouges in the housing. These can lead to performance problems due to a weak transducer. Also, for externally mounted transducers, be sure to adjust it properly so it can give you accurate readings. The gain controls how much signal you see on the circular display. It does not affect how much power your flasher is putting out. Rather, it controls how much of the signal that bounces back to the transducer is amplified. Keep the gain control set low. Turn it up only when you need to. Generally, for open water use, you will want to keep your gain set very low, turning it up only to maintain a good bottom signal. The range control sets the depth that the flasher will read to. There are 5 ranges available: 0 to 20 feet, 0 to 40 feet, 0 to 60 feet, 0 to 80 feet, and 0 to 200 feet. To determine the depth, simply match the color that the range knob is set to the corresponding color scale on the circular display. For example, if the range control is set to the yellow 20-foot setting, look to the yellow ring on the display. If the range knob is set at the orange 60-foot scale, look to the orange ring on the display. To read the 200-foot scale, you must multiply the reading shown on the yellow scale by 10. Also, notice the 0 to 20-foot low-power range setting. This sets the range to 0 to 20 feet, but with the output power of your unit reduced by 50%. Now, when you're fishing in waters with lots of weeds, or maybe even large schools of fish, you will find that the lowest setting on your gain is simply not low enough to clearly understand the signals below. With the 20-foot low-power mode, you can cut the output of your unit by 50% to make it easier to find true bottom in the weeds, or to make it easier to find your bait within a school of fish. Now here's an example of a thick weed bed in normal mode. Here's what it looks like in low-power mode. See how easy it is to find true bottom in the low-power mode? This is one of the true advantages of Vexilar flasher technology. All Vexilar flashers utilize a 3-color display system. The colors are designed to give you more information about the strength of the signals being displayed. Red represents the strongest of the return signals. Green represents the weakest of the return signals. And orange represents medium strength signals. Using this information, you can get a better understanding of the conditions below you. The colors can also help you determine the type of bottom content. Soft bottoms will show more orange and green than red. Harder bottoms will show more red and a narrower signal overall. Also, vegetation will show as weaker signals above the stronger signal of the true bottom.